Me and the victim mindset, like, we have a history. If things were easy, then we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't expand. Seeing these people somewhat fast tracking to success and quantum leaping to success, and you're sat there thinking, how is that fair? They feel relatively safe in their environment, even if it isn't ideal, and even if they want to get out of it, they feel relatively safe in it and therefore don't have that sense of urgency to get out of it. There's leveling up and becoming the best version of yourself can be so scary. In fact, it is scary. It's scary because you have to get out of your comfort zone, leave things behind that don't serve you anymore. You have to lose things in order to gain things. When you have a certain level of self-awareness, shed your skin all the time, and it's exhausting. It's so exhausting.
Please don't like him. He don't wife him. He one night some.
This video has the potential to be so long, and I really hope it's not, because I've got an hour and a half roughly to film it. So I want to get it done as quick as possible. This is a video for whenever you're feeling stuck. And I know that I have recently been in a situation where I felt very, very stuck and very lost, not knowing my identity, which I'm going to make another video about. But yeah, just feeling really stuck and just not knowing where I'm going in life, and feeling disheartened seeing other people get into where they want to be and feeling like I'm really behind. I've made a lot of drastic changes this year though, so that I've stopped feeling that way. Now listen, it can be so disheartening when you're seeing so many people online creating and thriving in the exact area that you want to create and thrive in. Seeing these people somewhat fast tracking to success and quantum leaping to success, and you're sat there thinking, how is that fair? I mention it in every single video, but I do think that seeing all these things on social media and seeing people jump to success and having overnight success can be so harmful, and it can lead us on such a slippery slope to self-destruction if we don't have a strong enough sense of self. We live in a world where you've got to have a strong mindset. You've got to know that you can succeed and that you will succeed. Otherwise, those limiting beliefs in your subconscious mind, your inner child, or the narrative that was instilled in you by your parents will creep back up, and it will terrorize you from the inside out. You know when you see in movies and they've got like a devil and an angel on the shoulder, and the devil is so good at persuading the protagonist to do the bad thing and do the thing that they really shouldn't be doing, but more than likely the devil always wins. The devil's always so persuasive, whereas the angel is very calm, kind of passive, and just like, well, this is the right thing to do that if you want. And then the devil is there running her mouth, making the bad thing sound so appealing and so satisfying to do. That devil always makes the character think, oh yeah, that sounds so good, why would I not do that? And then you're there shouting at the TV like, no, don't do it, why are you doing that? And you know that the angel is always right, and you know that they need to follow what the angel says. Oh, it's so stressful. It always reminds me of The Emperor's New Groove, where Kronk has the devil and the angel. I think he actually chooses the angel, what the angel says. But it always reminds me of that. Anyway, besides the point, this is how limiting beliefs are, and this is how I see them to show up in our minds and in our bodies. I think sometimes when we personify these parts of us, it makes it easier for us to kind of deal with them. I think it's very helpful to think of our limiting beliefs as that devil, so you can kind of personify it and see it maybe as like a separate entity or separate person to you. And I think that really helps with giving you a bit of perspective and a bit of clarity, because if somebody else external to you was telling you all these things, saying, oh, you should do this bad thing, you should do that bad thing, you would have more discernment, because you're thinking, right, well, that's not coming from me, that's coming from somebody else, so I'm gonna have more discernment and I'm gonna think more about that before I do that thing. Whereas if we think it's coming from within, that's more persuasive. We think, well, that's just us, we want to do that, so we're gonna do it. And also, if it's someone separate from you, you're not gonna resonate with it as much as you are as if it's coming from within yourself. So I always like to think of it like that little devil on the shoulder is like a completely different person to me, or a certain part of me. I'll get more into that in a different video, because I feel like that's a whole video by itself. I'm gonna delve deep into why we're not seeing the progress that we want to see, and why we're not reaching our goals as fast as we maybe want to, or as fast as other people are reaching their goals. And we're gonna get to the root, and we're gonna solve it from there. So stick with me if you want to join me. So I've been doing some scrolling recently, and I've been doing my research on YouTube and different YouTubers and how they've gotten their success. YouTubers YouTubers of all different sizes, so their channel size might be like 100 subscribers or up to like 1 million, and just seeing their story and looking back at their old videos and kind of researching into their strategy and the things that they did, because if you've not already figured it out, that is what I'm trying to do as well. I'm trying to grow this channel into something amazing, and I'm trying to grow a big community so I can share all of the things I want to share with you guys, and we can all help each other. So I've been really looking deep into what other people have been doing, because they basically have the blueprint. And I've learned a lot. When I tell you I've learned a lot about people's success, and it's been really interesting to analyze it and kind of see the people who have got really successful really fast, and then the people who have got successful over a long period of time, and seeing the difference of what they've done. And it's also been very helpful when it's YouTubers who are talking about self-development and inner child healing and all that kind of stuff, because it gives you more of an insight into what inner work they've been doing as well. So I found it really interesting, and I want to share my findings with you. What you need to realize about why people may be ahead of you in life. Every single person in this world is different in some way or another. Everyone is made up of different experiences, different belief systems, different backgrounds. You know, like that TikTok where it's someone pretending to be God, and it's like God when he made me, and then putting in like a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Everyone is so different. Everyone is made up of their own specific recipe, I guess. That means that we are all different in how quick we are going to reach our goals. Everybody's sense of urgency is so different. Some people manifest things really, really quickly because they have come from a place of urgency. They've come from a place of a rock bottom, and where everything in their life has just shattered apart, and they have literally nothing left to lose. They have to pick up the pieces and figure out how they're going to get the life of their dreams, because that's their only option. They are uncomfortable anyway, so being more uncomfortable in their endeavor to reach their goal is nothing. It's just an added component. These are often the people that you see succeed really quickly, and the people who you feel like have overnight success, because you just see them, you find them from nowhere, and you're like, wow, they got successful really quickly, and it's almost like they've quantum leaped. A lot of the time that is because those people have gone through some really hard things, and they have had to find a way out of it, and they've had to do the inner work, and they've had to get uncomfortable to get out of that situation, because their sense of urgency was so much bigger. Following on from that point, some people don't reach their goals as quickly because they are comfortable in some way or another. They are comfortable in their current situation, so they're not pushed enough to make that change in their life. Or they might be making change, but they're probably making it a bit slower because they're not in a situation where they need to get out as soon as possible. From a survival point of view, from a primal state, they feel relatively safe in their environment. Even if it isn't ideal, and even if they want to get out of it, they feel relatively safe in it, and therefore don't have that sense of urgency to get out of it. These are the type of people who I've noticed in my findings that have grown a little bit slower over time. They built their channel up slowly, they've mastered their craft over time, and then they're gradually getting the followers. There are people who are coming from a place of natural abundance mindset. Their mindset is already solid. They have probably had a really good upbringing. Their parents have raised them with so much love, so much compassion, so much self-worth, that they have that foundation solid. That is like a key part of manifesting, to have that solid foundation and believing in yourself, and not having to kind of like pick up the pieces and do all of the extreme inner work and delving into your traumas. Like, some people don't have to do that much inner work to get to where they want to be because they have a good, strong foundation anyway. Which, can I just say, that is not me. If it's not you too, then stick with me, because I've got you. Some people just have money. Some people can literally buy their way to the top. They can buy their dreams and their goals because they have the money to do so. In this world, money is definitely power. If you have money, then you can fast track to success. So if you're seeing people online and you're getting really disheartened because they're so successful so quickly, it's probably because they have money. In saying that, just because someone has money doesn't mean that they really are adding any kind of value. I mean, there are people who have money who add value, don't get me wrong, but I think it says a lot about a person who has to work their way up to the point of success. It really builds character when you've had to go through things to get to where you want to be. And like, as much as we all want to achieve things overnight, we all want things to be easy, but if things were easy, then we wouldn't grow, we wouldn't expand, we would just kind of be, I think we'd be pretty bored. And the final reason that you might find that people are ahead of you is because you are not doing what needs to be done, to put it bluntly. You are comparing yourself to others, but you do not see the hard work that goes into their craft. If you think of someone like Beyonce, she is incredibly talented, she is incredibly disciplined, and she is the most amazing singer and performer. She is a legend. People might look at Beyonce and say, well, it's easy what she does. She just gets on a stage and she sings and dances. Like, that's easy. I want to do that. But no, like, it's not easy. She just makes it look easy because that's her job. You see the very surface of something and you think you know everything that's gone on underneath the surface, but you don't. No one can ever know what's going on in someone else's life. It's only that person who knows, and obviously like their close circle. And the truth is, leveling up and becoming the best version of yourself can be so scary. In fact, it is scary. It's scary because you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to leave things behind that don't serve you anymore. You have to lose things in order to gain things, and it's a difficult journey. And I think when you have a certain level of self-awareness, you are constantly forced to grow and evolve and to shed your skin all the time, and it's exhausting. It's so exhausting. So you've got to really know whether you want to do that, if you want to go through all of that, which I highly recommend. I would recommend it to everyone because that's what the universe wants us to do. It wants us to expand and become the best version of ourselves. There's no point sticking in a comfort zone because that's not what we were put here to do. We were put here to expand and just experience life and become the best versions of ourselves. However, in saying that, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that you need to have a 6-month plan and be so strict and put your body through absolute hell to reach your goals in 6 months. Like, if you want to do that, you do that, but you have to kind of weigh up what you want, and is it even worth that when you could maybe balance it out a little bit and get your goals over a longer period of time, maybe like a couple of years rather than 6 months, but you can live your life at the same time in the process. You can do what you like to do. You can still see your friends and like speak to your grandma, you know, like that TikTok where it's like, grandma, you're blocked. You can still do those things and you can still be balanced. I've got a video on that as well, so I will link that. That's like one of my first ones, so I'm probably very awkward. I feel like I'm awkward in this video anyway, but we move. But yeah, knowing that you have the option to go all in, you can do it full David Goggins style. You can put your body through hell and you can push yourself to the absolute max, and yes, you will probably see the results really quickly if you do that. If you're doing all the inner work, if you're disciplined and working out and doing everything that you need to do to the maximum capacity, then of course you're going to see your dreams, your manifestations come through. There's no doubt about that. However, for me, I have found that that's just not sustainable, and even when I've tried to do that in various different self-development phases of my life, I've always gone all or nothing, and I've just found that that doesn't work with me. It's not very harmonious with me and my body and my soul to do that. So I've taken a different approach of kind of like slowing it down a little bit, maybe getting a little bit more strategic now, because I know that I can't, like, me just doing the bare minimum, like posting 1 video a week, I know that's not gonna that's not gonna get me very far very quickly, but I'm just finding my feet. I'm getting my bearings, just deciding what you want and deciding how bad you want it. And if you don't stick to a 6-month plan and do all the crazy shit, that's not to say that you're not going to reach your goals. It's just to say that it probably won't be as fast as other people around you. So don't get disheartened when you see other people manifesting things really quickly when you don't see what they're doing, you don't see the work that they're putting in to their craft. Now let's talk about what's holding you back from reaching your goals. Number 1 is your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is the enemy. That is where dreams go to die, if I'm being real. We cannot stay in our comfort zone because that is literally going to get us nowhere. We are not pushing ourselves. We are not allowing ourselves to experience new opportunities in life because we're not putting ourselves out there. We're staying in our little comfort bubble where we keep experiencing the same patterns and the same loops because we're not moving out of that comfort bubble. If you want to be a YouTuber, let's say, you need to take steps towards that. So you need to record the content, you need to upload it, even if it's not very good. Don't fall into like the perfectionism trap. Just do it, get it out there, because the more you get it out there, the more people you will connect with and the more opportunities they're gonna open up. But if you don't get out of your comfort zone, you're never gonna experience those things. You're never gonna open up those opportunities and open up those doors because you're not knocking at them. You're not even trying to get to them. Number 2 is the victim mindset. Now, Me and the victim mindset, like, we have a history. I was stuck in a victim mindset for the longest time ever, and it literally got me nowhere. I don't know what I thought it would achieve. Well, I do know. I thought if I'm the victim, then people will baby me, people will look after me, people will care for me and feel sorry for me and love me. But I don't have to be the victim for people to love me and for people to care about me. And I realized this over the years. It's definitely been a long journey, but I feel like I'm on the other side of it now. However, it is definitely a shadow side of myself where if I see it in other people, I get very triggered because I'm thinking, oh, why are you being a victim? Because I just know that it doesn't get you anywhere. I literally was the biggest victim ever. It was always woe is me. Everything was so difficult. It was like, I can't do this because that's so difficult. It would be something so small and minor and I would think that it was the end of the world. But once I started doing the inner work and I really started to question this and look into it, I realized that the reason that I was playing the victim and complaining all the time is because it's so much easier to do that than it is to actually make change in your life. As soon as I ditched that, my life just improved exponentially. It's just improved so much. I feel so much happier since focusing on what is actually good in my life rather than focusing on what's bad in my life. The more I focus on what's good, more good things come along. And I know that people say this all the time and it's like the law of attraction, and I know people think all that kind of stuff is very woo-woo. However, it's true. The more you think about positive things, the more they will come to you because your awareness is focused on them. You're looking for them. It's that confirmation bias. If you're thinking of a certain car, you're going to see that car a lot. And it's the same with your thoughts. There is absolutely nothing productive about being the victim, like literally nothing. And you just need to ditch it immediately because that is going to hold you back so much. And I'm saying that from a place of love because I don't want you to fall in the same traps that I did. My hands are so red. Number 3, people in your life. There are going to be energy vampires in your life, guaranteed. I mean, maybe lucky, maybe there's not, but there definitely has been in my life. I've had to do a lot of landscaping. I've had to get rid of a lot of people out of my life. And obviously, it's hard because you don't want to just cut people out because they don't align with you anymore. Like, that can be very harsh, but people who are genuinely just not nice people, like fake friends, toxic friends who don't want the best for you and who get jealous of you and who essentially have evil eye towards you, I had to cut it because it's just not the energy that I wanted in my life at all. But as I say, you do have to have like a discernment about this because you don't want to just be cutting people out because they don't align with you anymore. I feel like it can be so easy to be like, oh, we don't align anymore, you don't understand me intellectually, like I'm so much higher intellectually, so I'm gonna cut you out. No, there's ways and means to do it. 4, lack of boundaries. Now I've got another video on this. This is like another one of my first videos on my channel. Go and watch that. Boundaries are so important. You cannot have people like the energy vampires I was talking about before. You cannot have people draining your time and your energy when you need that time and energy to put that into your goals. You need to be setting strict boundaries with the people in your life, even if it's people who you love so much and you want to make time for. If you want to reach your goals, you do have to have a certain level of, no, this is time for me. I can see you this day at this time. You've just kind of got to be clear on your boundaries and what you can and can't do. Number 5, comparison. Social media. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to make a whole video on this because I bang on about it all the time, but social media is a killer, especially if you don't have that solid foundation like I was talking about earlier of self-worth and self-esteem. If you're seeing other people achieving things so quickly and you're watching TikTok and you're seeing all these people on TikTok having the same ideas as you and talking about it, but they're actually getting paid for it, and then you're thinking, oh my God, I'm so behind. It's debilitating and you don't want to do anything. As soon as I cut out social media, I have been able to spend my time so much more wisely, and I've become the creator that I want to become rather than a consumer. And I think you've got to kind of make that decision of what you are, because you can be both, but you've kind of got to be more like on one side of the scale, and you've got to decide which side you're on. Number 6, your mindset as a whole. And again, I'm gonna do a whole video about it because there's not time in this video, but your mindset is the most important thing in terms of reaching your goals. You're not going to be able to reach your goals if you are working from a really damaged foundation. You can, but it's going to be so much harder, and there's going to be so much more resistance, and you don't want that, and you don't need that. It can be easier, but you just have to do the inner work. Make sure to subscribe because I will be doing a video about this and you won't want to miss it. Okay, now let's talk about steps that we can actually put into place, put into action to reach our goals, because I can tell you all the things you're doing wrong, but that is not productive. So let's talk about what we can do right. You need to be more scared of not achieving your goals than you are of that one uncomfortable situation that you've got to go through in order to reach your goals. You have to be terrified of it. You have to get a bit morbid, and you have to think about how you will feel in 10 years time, 20 years time, or even on your deathbed if you don't go for your dreams and do what you want to do in life. You have to get terrified of that. That has to be so scary to the point where you need to work towards your goals. It's terrifying to not work towards your goals. Number 2, take tiny steps. You don't need to take these massive steps towards your goals because that can be so overwhelming. You need to just take baby steps in the beginning and just take the smallest little action that you can do in this moment, the easiest thing that you can do, and just do it. And then keep building on that until you've built your integrity and you know that you can follow through with the things that you're setting yourself to do. You have to work with what you've got. And again, I'm so sorry. I feel like I keep saying it, but I'm going to make another video on this. I've got so many videos planned. Anyway, you have to work with what you've got basically, and you've just got to do your best with what you have now. That can literally be as small as making your bed. I know it's cliche and I know people say it all the time, but just making your bed, or just folding towels up after you've used them, or washing up your cutlery and your plates and stuff after you've used them, rather than leaving them in the kitchen and then waking up the next morning and having to do them. Making life for your future self easier as much as possible. You have to make sacrifices. There is no ifs, ands or buts about it. You do have to make sacrifices if you want to reach the life that you want to reach. Now, I love Netflix. I love social media. I love lots of things. I enjoy my life and I enjoy leisure and entertainment. However, there comes a point where you have to make sacrifices, even if it's for a short while, just in order to kind of catapult you towards your dreams, because otherwise you're never going to reach them. If you're making sacrifices, I feel like it's very important to kind of focus on why you're making the sacrifice and kind of maybe make a pact like with the universe and say like, right, I am going to sacrifice this thing that I really love because I want to show you how much I want this goal. And if I sacrifice this thing, please help me and guide me into getting that thing. You have to make sure that you're focusing on what you're gaining from the sacrifice and not focusing on what you're sacrificing and making yourself really miserable about it. Also, knowing that it's temporary and that you're not sacrificing this thing forever, you're just sacrificing this thing for a short amount of time for you to kind of maybe quantum leap into the life that you desire. Lastly, inner work. It always boils down to the inner work and working on your mind, on your mindset, because your mindset is the most important thing. If your mindset is not strong, then you're going to find it so difficult to stick to any kind of goals. If your subconscious mind doesn't believe that you can do something, you're not going to be able to do it, because your subconscious mind is what runs the show. It is constantly taking the wheel and driving you around in life. So you have to make sure that you're doing that work on your subconscious to get to where you want to be. You have to identify your childhood traumas, your limiting beliefs, your shadow self, in order to get to know yourself a little bit better and really become stronger in your self-worth and your confidence. Otherwise, you're going to find that everything that you do in life is going to be met with resistance. I'm not saying that you can't reach your goals without doing the inner work, because there are definitely people who have reached their goals without doing the inner work, but it makes it a hell of a lot easier if you are doing the inner work, because you're going to find that the universe is putting things into alignment for you. The universe is helping you and getting you on track and assisting you. It's putting tests in the way to test and expand yourself, to see how you react to certain situations and see if you're going to react to them in the same way that you used to, or if you're going to react to them in a more healthy way that is more aligned to your higher self. Okay, I'm gonna have to go because the lighting, it's getting dark, the lighting's going crazy, and I really need a wee, and I've got to go get my nails done. So yes, I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found some value in it. Please subscribe to my channel. It would mean the absolute world to me. I'm really starting to kind of like strategize a little bit more and put a bit more effort into my channel, because it is something that I really care about and that I really want to succeed, and I just love it so much. I love it, and it's only small, but I love it. I love it with my little 3 subscribers. Like, oh, even though I do want more. I want to like reach out to more of you and get my message out there and help you all. So yeah, I love you all so much. Oh, I forgot to show you. This is my child. My other child is over there. I've got custody this week. Thank you for watching. I love you so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.
Ruby's trying to take advantage of him. He won't let him. He don't need him. So he treats him like he treats him. Better them than me. She don't agree with him. She's mad at that. He's not.